Uh, Thank you, everyone, for coming today. Thank you, Dr. Turner, Jackie, of course, and everyone for inviting me here today to present. What I'm going to talk about real quickly is responsibilities and notification requirements for golf course superintendents and athletic fields. And just a quick overview. I've got a link to this, so you don't have to worry about memorizing anything I give you today, but primarily looking at the Rule 62.610, which advises on, especially golf course, public use of reclaimed water. And so within that, I'm just going to quickly go through some public notification requirements, where these signs should be posted, visual coding, setbacks, and cross-connection prevention requirements. So we'll just zoom through those. And so, yeah, for the Florida Administrative Code 62.6-610 governs the use of reclaimed or reused water, how you want to say it. This is under Florida DEP, FDEP, Florida Department of Environmental Protection. And just note that depending on the water management district that you're located within, there may be certain stipulations, limitations for use with this water, one being the limited or unlimited use of reclaimed water. So some areas may or may not be able to use it entirely onto themselves. All right, so here's the table of contents for that chapter 62.610. If you'll see on the right-hand side there at the bottom, there's a flow code. You can take your camera or your phone in camera mode, take a picture of that and bring you up the link, or Jackie's posted the links to this in the chat so that you can pull them up directly into your web browser. But the chapter I want to talk about is part 3 here in the big circle. And someone asked the question just before we were going on about edible crops. And here you go. Here's the whole spiel. It's stipulated, so it depends. And I would like for you to just download this document and go right to it. It will explain all the limitations and what you can and cannot do as far as the requirements with edible crops. And if you still have questions, give me a buzz and I can help you further with that. But this is the criteria that I want you to be aware of for those in the golf and grounds management area. And also if you're a homeowner association, if you're in that on the board or leadership of, these are also some things you can take note of to make sure that you're staying in compliance with your reclaimed water. So why provide public notification? There's three main reasons. One, the public needs to know. They need to be able to make informed decisions. How they either approach the grounds, should they be there when it's going? So we want to make sure that there's no spray contacting the public when these systems are up. So notice must be given in that capacity. And also there's a big one here. Back up. Informed users this actually happens. Informed users are less likely to create cross connections between drinking water and the reclaimed water lines. Believe it or not, that does happen. That is a concern, so much so that they put it into the rules here. And we'll talk a little. I'll explain that a little bit more toward the end. Where should notices be placed? Well, definitely, advisory signs need to be consistent, and they need to follow a given text, consistent in English and Spanish, and being do not drink, and the equivalent international symbol should be on there too. I've seen some signs that these are great examples. The symbol's not located on them. Plus, there's not a lot of consistency. The one with the Greyhawk golf course, sure, it's telling the public, informing the public, but it's not consistent with the rules. So that's not really a good advisory notice there. The one on the right, much better though. It uses the color that we need, the purple. It also has the key words consistent with the language that's in the rule. So, that's again, we need to place these, but they need to be consistent. Public, and I'll give you some examples in a minute on that too as well. Public notification and signage, and also flyers. If you need to, you're in a homeowner association, golf course, where you need to advise residents and users of reclaimed water, if you're responsible for that part, you can download this document. This is from the FDEP. They kind of have a little toolkit that's available. This is also another link that you'll find in your chat to find the flyer. Over here is the recommended language, and then on the right, there's optional language to include too, if you want to have any not nutritional, but nutrient values or other constituencies that may be in the water that you want the users to be aware of. So where should notices be placed? With golf courses, 1st and 10th tees must be advised or should be advised at that point. Here's an example here under par 10, T10, par 4 here. Another way is to look at the, you can place this on the scorecard, and I'll back up. I think I clicked too quick. But you'll see here, notice, and if you look a little closer, you'll see where it says this facility is irrigated with reclaimed water. Do not drink. I mean, that's a great effort. You know, you may want to include the sign for reclaimed water, or maybe even a different color just to bring attention to that. But these are good examples of placing your advisory notices properly on the golf course. Also with fountains, if you have decorative fountains, you know, near the clubhouse, entryways, you know, especially like in parks or near athletic fields where you know children are going to be in the area playing, even adults may find themselves jumping in. They do need to be aware of that this is a do not swim, do not drink device or fountain. And here's an example of that image I was talking about earlier of reclaimed water. So anything that you can remain consistent with your symboling, definitely with the color purple, is important to give notice and to the public. Within the flyer website link I gave you, you can also see and locate the advisory signs as well. DEP provided just some generic language or generic graphics here for you to adopt and use either at your facility or your home HOA member's house, or wherever there's functions going on where you're using this water either in the landscape, on the turf, or in the fountain, or it's in a holding pond. We do need to, you know, be mindful of that too, or, you know, to let the public know, do not swim in these holding ponds where we have reclaimed water. With golf courses and athletic fields, definitely there's setbacks that we need to be mindful of. This is a BMP 75 feet from these wellheads. You know, we don't want to be wetting this area, knowing that, you know, this is the public supply area for the well. So we need to avoid that area. They're not required for outdoor public eating, drinking, or bathing facilities. However, it is recommended that you maintain 100 feet setback from outdoor public eating, drinking, bathing facilities. Also, you know, be mindful of your devices. You want to use those lower arcs, nozzles that are not creating a large droplet. I mean, you want them to create a larger droplet so there's not a lot of aerosol and drift in the air that could fall back in. You know, who wants to have it, you know, coating your hot dog or whatever you're eating there at the clubhouse or facility. So be mindful of that setback. Otherwise, you know, this is water quality rules too, being that it may have nutrients, part circle heads around surface waters, and avoid impervious surfaces, you know, especially ponding on impervious surfaces. This is a collection site. Even though it may evaporate, it's still a collection site for nutrients to collect and then be washed with heavier rains or moreover irrigation. With application and system controls as far as vaulting, you know, we need to make sure that, for example, hose bibs should be located, labeled, of course, with the purple tag stating what it is. Do not drink, of course, but you can put them in the valve boxes, and a lot of valve boxes come with locks that you can secure to keep public out of it. One of the things that this really is a workaround, I guess, is just to use quick couplers, especially, you know, within your fields, sport fields, and there around the greens. Quick couplers are great. They're secure. They secure that line. It doesn't function without a coupler. So that's one way too to make sure that these are kept from unauthorized use on your course or on the grounds. The color, it's actually spec'd out. It's Pantone purple 522C. So if you do need to do some renovations, or you putting in anywhere where you need to identify this water, use the spec required. Just real quick here on the cross connection, what I mean by that is where you could take two different sources, and this is they can either come in. This is a little technical, but if you do have systems that were in play, no longer in play because you have reclaimed water, we need to decouple these. This is where we have, of course, a potable water supply coming in. If this is reclaimed water now on this side, and we put that spool in, we open up these gate valves, and we don't have a check valve in between or backflow, we're going to contaminate some water. And it's going to, depending on vacuum or suction, either way, we can get water back into these systems where people can actually be in contact drinking it. These swing joints where they just swing over, connect, swing over, connect. If it's potable water supply, that's no. So the rules in here, it's important that we do not connect back to potable water supplies once we go on to a reclaimed water source. Alternative uses of water, surface water is okay if you need to pump and switch over a swing joint, but we can't have these connections to potable water. So the take-home points is 1, install and maintain signs at points of entry, pedestrian and vehicular. So, at the athletic fields, I didn't have a really good picture of that thing, but, make it definitely noticeable on the main gate entryways, and watch your holding ponds if you do have holding ponds and fountains there. Install and maintain labels. You can purchase these labels on the web, or you can make your own. They just need to be in the color required and the language that's necessary. Use quick couplers. Instead of hose bibs, it's really a great and safe way to go about good BMP, reducing unauthorized use, especially around athletic fields, around bathroom facilities where there may be a reclaimed water bib there. And if it's not locked, you're definitely, you need to be in compliant, be mindful of those hose bibs otherwise. Be certain that all connections to freshwater systems have been severed and capped. Again, if you need to know your systems and be aware of that. And educate and train employees on safe use and restrictions. You have a job, but you're not everywhere all the time, every second. So the more employees you have trained and understanding how the compliance, these rules work, the safer and less liability you're open to worry about, really. So that's it in a nutshell. Thank you all again. Appreciate it.